In today's video, I will be performing the transfer protocol for Western blotting. First off is going to be washes. What I'm going to do first is place a PVDF membrane in methanol for 30 seconds in order to open it. Once that's done, I will transfer the membrane to a tray full of transfer buffer. After the gel electrophoresis process is finished, I'm going to disassemble the gel cassette by turning the power pack off and removing the lid. I'm then going to dump out the excess running buffer back into the tank, where I can now just have my empty inner compartment. Now I'm going to disassemble the inner compartment by pulling down the green levers and removing the gels. First, I'm going to take this little green tool and use it as a lever to separate the gel from the cover slip by just gently lifting up the corner of the cover slip. And then I can just carefully separate them apart. My gel will typically just be stuck onto the glass plate. And now I'm going to remove all of the little well pieces from the gel by just cutting them off with this green tool. I'm just going to discard those and remove them from the plate so that they don't end up in my solution. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to just dump my plate face down into this tray of transfer buffer to moisten it. And then I'm going to use this green tool to just carefully separate the gel from the corner of the plate and just carefully put the green tool further under the gel until it pops off into the tray. Once that's finished, I'm going to place the membrane and gel in a wash of transfer buffer for 5 minutes, and then proceed to assemble the blot sandwich. First, I'm going to place down a transfer stack. After that, I'm going to pour transfer buffer onto the stack, ensuring that it is fully covered. After that, I'm going to put down my membrane. Here I am carefully picking up the corner of the membrane with flat forceps to ensure that it remains undamaged. And I'm just going to place the membrane carefully down on top of the transfer stack. Next, I'm going to take this green tool and use it to pick up the gel. What I do is I just slide the gel over top of the green tool and use my thumb to hold on to it. I can then transfer it from the tray onto the top of the membrane. Here I'm just going to carefully lay it down, removing the green tool as I go. Now I'm going to take this little roller and just gently roll it on top of the gel to remove any bubbles that may form between the gel and the membrane, as this will affect the quality of my blot. After that, I'm going to get one more transfer stack and place it on top of the gel. And once again, I will take my transfer buffer and fully cover the stack with the buffer. Now I'm going to take the lid to the cassette and put it on, ensuring I press down evenly on all sides and that all the corners are clipped in. I'm then going to dump out the excess transfer buffer. Then I can load the cassette into the apparatus. Here I'm using the TransBlot Turbo machine by Biorad. The protocols used will vary depending on the apparatus. but for this machine, I'm using the turbo mode, which activates a mixed molecular weight protocol. I'm going to select the number of gels per cassette, which is 1 mini gel. And then I'm going to hit run for the cassettes that will be in use. Once the runtime is finished, I can disassemble the blot sandwich. So when the run is finished, I'm going to turn off the transfer apparatus and remove the cassette. I'm going to unlock it and lift it up carefully, as some parts of the sandwich may have gotten stuck on the lid. This time, it didn't. First, I'm going to remove my transfer stack and discard it. I'm being very careful to ensure that I only grab the transfer stack at first. And now we just have the gel on the membrane, and I'm also going to carefully lift up the gel and discard that as well. Now I'm just left with my membrane, which I'm going to pick up by carefully grabbing the corner and place it into a tray of TBST. I'm just going to give it a swish to ensure that it gets fully covered by the solution. Then I'm going to remove the final transfer stack and discard it. I will then place my blot on a shaker in TBSD for 5 minutes. Once that wash is complete, I can hang up my blot to dry. For my blot hanging system, I just use some simple clips, which I attach with tape to a ledge on the lab bench. This allows them to hang without being bumped by anything, ensuring that they stay as undamaged as possible. Thank you for watching this video on how to perform the transfer protocol for Western blotting.